In the twilight of a crumbling age, the world of Etherian was shrouded in shadow. Ash choked the skies where once the sun reigned, forests withered into husks, oceans turned to glass, and the wind carried only whispers of despair. The kingdoms of man had fallen, their spires reduced to jagged skeletons, their libraries burned, their gods long silent. Greed, hubris, and blood had paved the road to ruin, and none were innocent in the reckoning. From the heavens, tear opened. Not of mortal design, but divine intervention, slicing through the clouds like a wound in time itself. From this rift descended the harbinger of judgment, the Celestial Warden, clad in radiant gold that gleamed with unyielding finality. Eyes unseen beneath his helm, yet nothing escaped his gaze. He bore a sword forged of starlight, a weapon older than history, its blade pulsing with ancient celestial fury. Etched upon its edge were runes lost even to the gods. His wings, vast and terrible, stretched like banners of wrath. Not symbols of grace, but instruments of war. Each beat of them shook the bones of mountains. His arrival was not salvation, it was correction, a cosmic response to imbalance, a reaping, a purge. He spoke not in words, but in silences so profound they stilled entire battlefields. Where he walked, time seemed to hold its breath. Where he struck, entire legions ceased to exist. His purpose was clear, not to guide nor to heal, but to cleanse, to restore what had been broken by tearing it down. For the sins of the world had tipped the scales beyond redemption. No plea could sway him, no prayer could soften him. His mercy was not of this realm. The people called him an angel, but angels weep, angels forgive. He was no savior. He was the warden, judge of a dying realm. His first judgment was cast upon the Ashen Vanguard, a cabal of warlocks whose ambition had eclipsed reason. They had carved dark sigils into the bones of the capital, binding demons in chains of blood beneath the throne itself. He descended like a blade of light, not from the heavens but through them, splitting the sky, sundering clouds with divine fury as he cleaved through horrors and flesh alike, each strike a beacon of absolute retribution that burned away centuries of sin in the fire of his justice. The skies burned, not from hellfire but from his presence, a golden conflagration that erased the unholy, turning rituals to ash, sanctums to rubble, and the Vanguard's champions to motes of scattered dust. Until Maldrak, the Demon King, sealed 1,000 years ago by the last High Circle, in chains now shattered by the clash of battle, rose from the depths of the catacombs. He towered over cities like a living mountain of malice, with wings of blackened flame and eyes that dripped molten hate, his roar shattering towers and silencing hope. But the Warden did not falter, meeting the ancient evil not with fear, but with purpose, raising his starlight-forged shield and soaring with blade held high, not around the beast, but into its heart. Their collision was not a battle, but a reckoning, where light met shadow and order clashed with chaos, shaking the world as forgotten powers collided. And the Warden, wielding not rage but law, struck with sentences and moved with verdicts, each blow fracturing Maldrak's once unkillable form beneath the crushing weight of judgment. Until, as the demon wailed, the Warden's wings flared blinding and absolute. uttering no words, for justice needed no proclamation. And in that moment, the world understood this was not mere vengeance, but correction, the end of sin given form. The battle left the land in silence, smoke curling through ravaged forests, ash falling like snow upon shattered keeps, and bones lining the once golden streets of the capital, while the warden stood unscathed, his golden armor unmarred, and his blade still glowing with starlit wrath. Yet within, he was cracked, not in armor, but in spirit. For every evil he vanquished, he saw echoes of the innocent, mothers cradling ash, children whose eyes would never open again, collateral to a justice too absolute. He had become a force, a law, but in law there is no room for mourning, only sentence and execution. Whispers began to stir across the realm. Was he truly sent to protect or punish? Divine wrath made flesh, or a blade loosed by gods too distant to care? Temples offered no answers, oracles spoke in riddles and silence, and even the old priests, once firm in faith, began to question. And the warden too began to question, each step echoing through the void of his soul, each victory tasting like ash, as he looked to the heavens, to the stars where purpose once shone. But no answer came. The stars were silent. Years passed. Where once stood empires, now bloomed fields, and though the warden's war had cleansed the world, it came at great cost. He never spoke or stayed, appearing only when the balance trembled, his sword a reminder of consequences. Civilizations rose upon the ashes of the old, but none dared build their towers too high or forget the silence that followed his fury. Legends turned to myths, myths into prayers, as children wore wooden wings mimicking the silent sentinel of justice. He became both warning and wonder, a ghost of gold and flame, a whisper in the wind before a storm, the guardian of a balance none could see, yet all could feel when it faltered. And still, high above the world, where light and void meet, the warden watches, waiting, eternal. For in the book of the divine, his name is not angel nor God. He is the Celestial Warden, and judgment never sleeps.
Balance is not a gift. It is a burden shared by all who walk beneath stars and sky. Should you tip the scales with greed, pride, or blind conquest, know this: I will return. Not as a savior, but as a reckoning. Heed this final truth: the world does not forget, and neither do I. I am the Celestial Warden.